Freaky fun for everyone. Sold
Leonardo, the katana blade. Attack the evil Inhumanoid, forcing him back into the earth. Hey, the name's Boglins. You sold separately.
We battle our He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. You put them out together.
Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful.
battle against Lion-O and the new Thundercat ally.
Hey guys, Dirt here, and today we're taking a look at the C3 Buildable Mini Arcade Classic set. I know it's kind of a mouthful here, but you can see 6 games of buildable blocks, 39 pieces each that turn into classic video arcade machines. Of course, you don't actually get to play them, they're just toys. They are not Legos. I will say that they are not Legos, but you get the idea if you're familiar with those at all. You can see the box here is vaguely in the shape of an arcade box. You've got a picture of what it will look like assembled, well, CGI render nonetheless. Side view, another CGI render. It shows you this one happens to be Q*bert, so of course you've got Q*bert on the side of the box, and you've got bricks at the bottom, so you can see that these are buildable blocks. And then on the back, hopefully you get better instructions than that on the inside, but we'll just have to wait and see. But you can see that it is just some basic bricks that you slide together and then put some stickers on in order to turn into an arcade machine. You can see the whole set there at the bottom, which is in fact what I have there in front of me. These are also manufactured by the Bridge Direct, which also did the Oyo Sports football/soccer figures I was looking at the other day. So apparently this mini brick thing is part of a big deal. Also, you'll recognize the Arcade Classics logo if you've seen their arcade machines in stores. They actually have a bunch of these games: Q*bert, Frogger, Asteroid, Centipede, Pac-Man. They have a couple versions of them, one with LCD screens and one with LED screens. So ones that actually are, I think, like old Nintendo ROMs inside a working arcade machine, and ones that are just really bad, like Game & Watch style screens that have the games involved. But anyway, back to these. You can see there's 6 of them all together. 3 of them are the classic joystick type, and then 3 of them are the button/puck type ones. You know, you'd either have like a roller or a roller ball or, you know, whatever to operate those. So they don't have a joystick, they have those instead. But looking at all of the games across here, Frogger, Space Invaders, Q*bert, Centipede, Breakout, and Asteroids, you can see that a lot of them have a lot of the quirks that were in the original arcade machines. Like Space Invaders has the extra artwork down here. There's Frogger down there. There's the guy from Breakout. So they did do a little bit more than just the piece of artwork on the back and the panel of art across the top. Also, they all have the art on the side of the arcade machine, which is a nice added touch for all of those basic pieces. Now, you might be wondering where you're going to find these. I actually found these at my local Toys R Us. Yes, even going out of business, I found new product there. And this one is pretty beat up. It looked like someone actually ripped the box apart trying to see if maybe it was a real arcade machine inside, and then it's not, and so then they just left it there. And of course this was the only Asteroids that was in the bunch, and I figured, well, I'm gonna open it up, put these things together, and throw away the boxes anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But let's get into these, start tearing them apart and building them, see how they look. Alright guys, we are going to open these more or less in order of release, starting here with Breakout. And Breakout, you can see again the box is in that arcade cabinet type shape. You've got the artwork on the side showing it assembled as bricks. There's your little robber guy there at the bottom. And we've got the instructions on the back. Like I said, hopefully there's a booklet inside or something that's a little bit more in-depth than that. But you can see it is bricks that come together to make your arcade machine. All of them there at the bottom. Not really a whole lot else to say about them. But you can see here, 1976 Atari Interactive. 1976. That was the year I was born, ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it. So this game is technically as old as I am. So let's get this open. And we've got, all right, our little baggie full of pieces, and there are our stickers. Now, this block here, you can see that has the numbers on them. These were all over the Oyo soccer / football toys that I opened about a week ago or so. There's always one of these blocks in there with this code, and the code, I believe, is always the same. I'm not really sure what the point of that one is, and you don't even use it when building. It just happens to be in there. Maybe so they know what company it's for at the manufacturing plant. But 39 pieces. You can see them all inside, some small ones. And again, even though there's a lot of small pieces that come together, one thing I've noticed with a lot of these toys, these buildable blocks with stickers, is that you can see the stickers, like here for Breakout, that go on the side. It's one long label. So once you have it built and you put that label on, you can't take it apart unless you want to destroy that label, which you probably don't, because that is some cool looking art on there. All right, so we do have a little booklet here with some instructions, so that will be useful for someone like me who's pretty much an idiot when it comes to putting this type of stuff together. And then the obligatory collect them all, showing all of the different games on there. I did. We have them. We will be going through all of them right now. So I'm going to use the magic of video editing, and we're going to see what this guy looks like all put together. And now that it's all built, here is our Breakout machine. And I have to say, it actually looks pretty decent. But there is one thing, though. It is small. If I zoom out here a little bit, that is our machine. That is the box it came in. So you can see it is actually quite a bit smaller than it is pictured on the box. It's a little disappointing, I have to say. I was expecting it to be a little bigger, but let's see how it compares to a minifig. Let's say Lionel Messi wants to come in and play some Breakout. You can step up to the machine there, and he's, you know, roughly the right size there. So I guess not too terrible as far as that goes. But the machine itself, it does have some interesting details. I mean, first of all, the screen is on a little maneuverable slider. So you can actually adjust it a little bit up and down depending on how you best want it to look. So depending on how you're going to display it, you do have the ability to play with that a little bit. You do have the sticker going on the front, but the sticker is actually on two separate pieces here. They're just kind of flat pieces on top. You can actually pop those off if you want and have access to the bricks underneath. But of course, yes, the side pieces do connect all of these together, so you really can't take it apart and do a whole lot. A couple nice things, though. One, they put the added detail of adding vents on the back, which I thought was just kind of a nice touch, because the back you don't really have to do anything for, just a nice little bonus there. There is a sticker here that shows it's Series 1, number 6, apparently. And so whether or not you want it to look more arcade authentic for being a brick arcade machine, you may or may not want to put those on there. Nonetheless, I think I will on all of them. One other thing of note that I found interesting, yes, once again, this piece, unused, but there are 2 extra pieces for the arcade buttons. Which is nice. I mean, should they get lost or you want to do something else with them, but you really don't have a spot to put them. I'm just going to toss them up here just to kind of get them out of the way, I guess. But otherwise, you just have a couple extra pieces that you can use to build whatever. I think that's probably because they're so small. The machine just kicks, extras in case it counts wrong. Maybe yours will have 3, maybe it'll have 5, but hopefully always more than 2, so you can put your arcade machines together. So nonetheless, all right, there's Breakout. That was interesting. like I said, a lot smaller than I expected. So if we jump in here with Space Invaders, this is going to be the next one released. This is 1978, so the year my wife was born. So, I probably shouldn't have said that. Never ask a woman her age, I've been told many times. You can see this one is actually one of the ones with the joystick and a button there. And you've got the artwork on the side and your nice little Space Invader monster there from the side of the arcade machine. Your instructions on the back, arcade classics, and all of that. So let's rip this open. I'm assuming all of these are going to be the same. You've got one little baggie and your instruction sheet, but just, you know, you never know. So we'll go ahead and do this here just in case. And yep, that's what it is. So again, booklet, baggie, stickers, although almost all blue. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So let's use the magic of editing to see what this looks like all completed. And there is Space Invaders. And a couple things to note on this one. First of all, this joystick piece, I thought that was actually going to be a couple different pieces cobbled together, the way it looks like it's in layers, like you have, one of these flat Lego pieces often used for like headlights and things like that, and then you had the little ball on top. But no, that is all one manufactured piece. And then I was like, oh, awesome. Are there two of these in there like there often are in the buttons? Because then I can make some other machines and mess around. And no, the only extra piece you get is another one of these white buttons. So I'll just throw it up on top there. But again, everything else, the way it's built is pretty much exactly the same as the breakout, the stickers on the side, the vent on the back. This is Series 1, number 2. The one thing that stands out here to me, more than anything else, is that, Space Invaders, there's been a lot of merchandise in the last few years. They've made keychains and shot glasses and noise machines and, whatever, computer mice, all kinds of stuff. So now, instead of this being, that arcade authentic, they do have the officially licensed product logo here with the Space Invaders guy, which kind of takes away a little bit, but at the same time, this is a thing made out of, buildable bricks. It's not like it's exact to begin with. The main thing, though, here that's going to haunt me for the rest of my days. If you could look here on the sticker, you can see I didn't get it perfect, and that is gonna bug me until the end of time. I mean, that is like, I look at this and all I can think is, you miserable failure. Look at how off that sticker is. This is one reason why I hate putting on stickers myself. But, all in all, though, I think it looks pretty cool. Again, like the other one. They're not the most perfect representations of the arcade machines, but they're still pretty close. They're still pretty cool. I like having them there. So let's move on to our asteroids. This is from 1979. Asteroids came out. And again, the box is beat up because someone tried to steal it or whatever. You can see this is another 2-button one with the ship there at the bottom, the one fighting the asteroids. Everything else, again, looks the same. Although Asteroids, this is another Atari one. So this should be much like Breakout, be a little more arcade authentic. So let's use our editing powers. Here is Asteroids in all its glory. And I've always loved, actually, the look of this arcade machine. It's just kind of one of those things I always grew up with, and I've always enjoyed the look of it. That artwork on the side is that classic Atari look. This is actually number 1 of the series, if you can believe it there. And we do have a red trim around the screen there, just to give it a little bit of extra pop. And again, with one extra button that I'll throw on top just to get it out of the way. The screen, I think, actually looks pretty good. This one I was able to more or less get on there square up. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so you can get a better idea of what these look like. Maybe. Can we, is that too close? That's too close? Can we, oh, come on. You're almost there. Can you get it? Get it, just, you're a little there. Oh, I think we got it. So you can get an idea of what the screen actually looks like on one of these. Again, it is just a sticker, and it's a sticker of lines of what was vector animation, so not really a whole lot to it. But it does look pretty faithful. I mean, it looks like a screenshot. We have the technology now. It can be done. We can build the $6 million man. We can build an actual sticker that looks like the screen from Asteroids. So, again, these are small, almost disappointingly so, how tiny they've actually ended up being, but they are cool. I mean, let's face it, they are neat things. So now we're going to jump to Centipede. This one did come out in the 80s, I believe. 81, yes. So 1981, this is our first foray into the 1980s arcade machines. You've got the Centipede monster down there at the bottom. All of the stuff that we've come to expect on the packaging, nothing really stands out as far as any of all of that goes. And this is another one that is from Atari. So one thing I've noticed here, and we'll see if this holds up through all of the rest, but if we look at these little guys back here, they have the logo up there in the top of the machine. Atari logo, the Space Invaders officially licensed product, the Atari logo. I don't know that that's how it was on the original machines. Maybe someone wants to Google that or whatever. I can see it again up here at the top. I don't think that's right, but that's how they're doing it on these machines. So, I don't know. If that's a point of controversy for you, I'm not going to buy them, these stupid things, because the logos are in the wrong spot. You know, I mean, that's your choice. I would feel very differently about that. So, nonetheless, let's get this guy put together. Here is Centipede. And again, the extra button that I will throw on top. Centipede, though, again, the Atari logo at the top that I was just talking about. This is number 3 in the series, has the vents. The one thing that kind of stands out to me is that this was all white. Everything, every piece in here was white, except for one, the screen that was black, to put the black sticker on. But 2, this main board here, obviously gray. And I was kind of wondering, like, well, that's weird. Everything else on this is white. Why is that one gray? Because, like, you know, here, well, get my hand out of the way. Here you can see that one, that was gray in there. This one was gray. It was a lighter gray, but nonetheless gray there. But here in Asteroids, it's all black. You didn't have a gray piece there. So why isn't this one all white? But it kind of occurred to me that the white, it would just all blur out. The white pieces just tend to, you know, all blend together and look like it's one piece. It's a little more difficult to see the seams and see the detail because there's nothing on there except the white. So if that was a white board with the white buttons and the white background and everything like that, it would really probably make it way too difficult to see any detail on these tiny little things. But again, really cool looking. I always like the Centipede logo. I like that lettering. I wonder if I could find a font of that somewhere. That would be cool to have on the computer. All right, nonetheless, there goes Centipede back there. And again, we're going to jump forward a little bit in time to the time of Frogger. Frogger is undated. It's Konami, but it doesn't have the copyright date on here. So Konami still has the rights to Frogger. No Konami logo I'm seeing here on the side. So that will be a little different than what I was just talking about, and I'm proven wrong on the very next one. But again, everything else, what you expect on the box. Although the sticker much more colorful because, of course, Frogger was a much more colorful game. Still is. Still a lot of fun to play to this day. All right, let's get it open. There's Frogger. And this one, I got to admit, this one is pretty cool. For me, there's something about the look of this one really takes me back. This is more about the time period of me in the arcades. The other games were usually there, but they had come out a lot earlier. But for my age, Frogger was one of those that I spent a lot of time playing, and seeing this is really cool. Although I think the logo may have been a little different. I can't remember. Anyway, regardless, you do have little Froggy, businessman, running off to work down there at the bottom of the arcade machine on the other side of the speaker. You got him on the side as he's running to work across the road, hopping to work. This is number 4. There he is on that side. And of course, we do have our obligatory extra button to throw on the top. But I'm wondering about this screen, because to me, gosh, that does look like the arcade. Of course, if I can get it, come on, focus. There we go. To me, that looks like arcade. Now, I don't know if there's any uber nerds out there watching who can figure this out. Maybe channel your energy. Do you know, is that arcade? Because that doesn't look like the Nintendo. It looks like higher detail than the Nintendo. Obviously more than the Atari. Is there a way to tell if it's MAME versus arcade machine? Because I know you can do that on some games like Donkey Kong and whatnot. Boy, I kind of wish I knew if that was the actual arcade. But nonetheless, looking at this, that is just a neat looking machine. Like I said, that takes me back right there. That is super awesome. All right, we've got one more to go, and it is Foulmouth Q*bert. Well, I gotta zoom back a little more. Now, Q*bert here, all yellow machine with the little orange guy. And again, box is everything that we've come to expect. One thing, though, I'm wondering is, I've been opening these more or less by date of release as best as I can remember. And this one, this one apparently came out in 2018. This is copyright 2018 Columbia Pictures. Columbia Pictures now owns the copyright to Q*bert. Are we getting a Q*bert movie? Is that what's happening? Are they going to do a live-action Q*bert now? Great. Well, we're getting Rampage. That looks like it's worth $100. So who knows? Maybe Q*bert's coming. Nonetheless, that's kind of interesting, though. No actual release year, much like Frogger, but we do get Columbia Pictures 2018. Huh. All right, so we are going to open Q*bert, but here's one thing I was thinking about, though. I've been doing them, like I said, opening them in the order more or less I remember being released. But here on the box, we've got Asteroids, Space Invaders, Centipede, Frogger, Q*bert, Breakout. Let's see. Was Asteroids number 1? Oh, it was number 1. Was Space Invaders number 2? It was number 2. Let's see. Centipede number 3? It was number 3. Look at that. Number 4. Frogger? Yep, Frogger was 4. Q*bert, I'm assuming this is going to be number 5. And the last one on the box was Breakout. Breakout is number 6. So there you go. So as far as those collector's numbers are concerned, the stickers on the back of the machines, that is the layout of the artwork back there. That's interesting. And it's not alphabetical. It's not by year release. It's just that's the way they decided to do it. You can also see on these stickers, the ones from Atari just have the game logo on there, whereas Konami and Taito really needed to have that copyright information for them. That was important. With this one, is this going to say 2018 Columbia Pictures on it? It's kind of interesting if it does, I guess, but I'll give props to Atari for at least not freaking out that much and making their collector stickers, look a little nicer on there, whatever. But all right, let's open up Q*bert. And there is Q*bert, glorious Q*bert, in his little machine there. And we've got the artwork on the side, the joystick, the obligatory extra button, which I set off to the side for now. The color on the sticker is very close to what's on the brick, but not 100%. It's like mustard on cheese. It's like the yellows are close, but not quite there. And it looks fine. Honestly, you're not looking that close anyway, but it's still just a little off, a little weird. This is collector's number 5, and we see that, in fact, it does not say 2018 Columbia Pictures, so that is nice on there. But as far as Q*bert goes, another fine-looking machine, and I will note, not a gray board. So, Asteroids with the black, Q*bert with the yellow, those are the only ones that are able to escape the plain gray board as far as those go. So, all right, let's see. Let's take a look at our machines here. This is our set of machines. Let's get a nice shot. I took the extra buttons off the top just so I can get a nice group shot here, probably for the video thumbnail that I'll use to entice people to come watch this video. But what did we learn today? Well, we learned that even though these are buildable bricks, you can't really build anything else. About the only thing you can swap are maybe the screens, the title cards, the coin return at the bottom. You can throw a joystick on asteroids if you want. You could have Qbert be all button control. But why would you sadist? But there's really not a whole lot that you can customize with these because, again, the stickers on the side really connect it all together and keep it connected. And a lot of these pieces, this is all one piece along the back. The board is all one piece there. It would be difficult to try to pull it apart and get extra pieces out of there. But I do give them credit for putting the vents on the back. That's something that they just didn't need to do, and they did. And it looks cool. Another thing, the artwork on the box of what the thing put together looks like, it never shows the speaker down there at the bottom, yet they all have the speaker on them. So it's a nice added piece of detail on there that is not shown on the box as far as the box goes. And the screen is actually the same as what's on here. A lot of times they just grab whatever screenshot, throw it on there. They don't really worry about it, but they've actually gone through the trouble of making sure that those match, which I give them bonus points for. Another thing that we've learned is how tiny they are. They are so much smaller. Again, back with the box. The box is pretty big. The toy next to it is pretty tiny. I mean, you kind of expect them as being buildable block things to be tiny, but not necessarily that tiny. But again, it kind of makes sense for your little Lego people if they're going to come in and play the game. The game is actually kind of too big for the minifigs to come play. So they are more or less, though, the right size. That joystick would just be impossible to try to use with your tiny little Lego person hands. But, you know, again, as far as the size comparison to the Lego fig, that's cool. Let's see, we also got more of these useless tiles that all have the same code on them. 02518WM. They all have the same thing. 02518WM. 02518WM. That means something to someone somewhere. I hope that it's worth having those extra pieces. And then we do have the ability to customize with extra buttons because they all came packed with at least one, if not two, extra buttons on there. So you do have the ability maybe to use those for something else. And should you lose a button, I guess you can put them on there, but it's not like you're going to be taking these things apart and playing with the buttons a whole lot. Overall, am I glad I got them? Yeah. I mean, these are cool looking things. They're going to go on a shelf. Obviously, I'm not going to be playing with these. I'm not going to be pulling them apart and trying to turn them into other things. Although it would be cool to try to make a Tron machine. And if they make a Series 2, Tron machine would be really nice, especially if they manufacture one of those joystick pieces on there. That would just be so awesome. That'd be so awesome. Although it'd be really tough to try to make the environmental like discs of Tron, big thing. Nonetheless, all right. So there you have it, guys. Those are your 6 C3 Arcade Classics buildable mini arcade machines. That's what they look like. They're about $4 a piece. Like I said, I got these from Toys R Us, although I think you can probably find them on eBay and Amazon and all of those other places. Maybe showing up at finer retailers nationwide like Walmart, Target, and all the rest. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Dirt, call me.